Hi, and welcome to the Digital Digging YouTube channel. In this video, we're taking a look at the Canadair CL-13 Sabre, both in history and in the game of War Thunder. The Canadair CL-13 Sabre was the Canadian-produced variant of the North American F-86 Sabre. The reason for their decision to adapt an existing aircraft to their own specifications was driven by Canada's entry into NATO in 1949. To play a meaningful role, the aircraft of the Royal Canadian Air Force required a significant update. There was some resistance to simply ordering in a perfectly serviceable aircraft from North America, however, with some of those involved in the purchasing process preferring a British design. A middle way was eventually found, with Canada reaching the compromise of licensing the design from North American Aviation and constructing their variant in Canadair's facility in Montreal. The Sabre was not the North American Aviation Company's first attempt at a jet fighter. That was the FJ-1 Fury. In common with the Supermarine Attacker, an aircraft that exemplified the transition from prop aircraft to jets, the Fury retained some strong characteristics of the firm's biggest success, the P-51 Mustang. However, its wings, almost identical to those of the Mustang, ensured that it couldn't perform well at the speeds required of a modern fighter. Swept wings which could resist compression at high speeds paved the way to further developments, and the beginnings of the distinctive Sabre body were already present, but as the Attacker was to the Spitfire, a certain mysterious tubbiness had been acquired. The same certainly couldn't be said of the F-86 Sabre when it emerged in 1947, eventually being introduced into service in 1949. The Canadair variant followed shortly afterwards in August 1950, with an initial batch of 10 manufactured for tool verification. The outbreak of the Korean War saw this order increase to 100, with the aircraft being fundamentally similar to the F-86 and powered by the General Electric J-47 GE-13 turbojet, which could generate 5,200 pounds of thrust. Later versions were powered by the native Canadian Avro Orenda 3 turbojet, which could generate 6,000 pounds of thrust, with the CL-13 Mark V carrying the Orenda 10, which could generate 6,500 pounds of thrust. The F-86E and F were amongst the few aircraft that could claim superiority over the Soviet MiG-15 during the Korean War, with the exception of a drop in performance at altitude and an inferior climb rate. The CL-13 series was also a great success, being adopted by a large number of countries, including the UK, the USA and Bolivia, who didn't retire theirs until 1994. In total, there were 9,502 F-86 constructed of all variants, including the 300 assembled in Japan by Mitsubishi. This figure exceeds the total of any other Western military aircraft constructed since 1945, with the exception of the Huey family of helicopters. There were 370 CL-13 Mark V's built, all of which started life in the Royal Canadian Air Force, but 75 of which were later passed on to the German Air Force, and it's this variant that graces the top of the German jet tree in War Thunder. The Canadian CL-13 Sabre is a Tier 5 aircraft with a battle rating of 8.3. It has a maximum speed of 700 miles per hour or 1,126 kilometers per hour and a turn time of 17.9 seconds. It's armed with 6 12.7mm Browning machine guns with 1,800 rounds of ammunition and a reload time of 20 seconds. It can also carry 16 127mm HVAR rockets or 2 1,000-pound or 453-kilo bombs. As in history, this is a high-performance aircraft capable of dealing with the MiG-15 BIS when handled correctly. It's one of the quickest aircraft in the game, and the roll rate is bordering on the ludicrous. This may be different with a joystick. I am, however, a lowly mouse and keyboard scrub, so there we are. To ensure success with the Sabre, you have to keep high and fast, although being a rather good diver, the Sabre can sometimes successfully shake off opposition this way too. Just don't get too low or you will be pounced upon. It comes equipped with air brakes, which can be used sparingly to get out of trouble, but these are best reserved for landings as they will shed speed like nothing else. When you're up against MiG-15s, don't be intimidated by their firepower. Although your 6 12.7mm Brownings may seem inadequate, the fire rate is pretty impressive and you have a generous store of ammunition. You can encumber this beautiful aircraft with rockets or bombs, but unless you're a committed bomber hunter, you may wish to keep its lines clean and use it purely as a fighter. Okay, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and with a bit of luck I'll see you for the next one. Like it if you do, or do the other thing if you don't. If you only watched it to see what I'm going to say about likes at the end, then well done, you made it. I hope you're not too disappointed. I mean, if you are disappointed, then feel free to leave a dislike. However, that wasn't really the point of these bits. You're not supposed to like or dislike the video according to whether you liked or disliked the bit at the end about likes and dislikes. So let me make this crystal clear. If you liked the video, then please express it with a like. If you disliked the video, then please express this with a dislike. Although, you know, that still raises the question of why you watch anything from my channel at all. Surely by now, you've got the gist of how these videos go. Is it an attention thing? I thought we'd got this sorted. I think we're going to have another little chat. Okay, cheerio chaps, take care, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye bye.